Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Ram Ashram Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you are learning modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be giving you a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of satsang, inner satsang and outer satsang. An example of outer satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The satsang that you will learn today is an inner satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion.
um, you know, promoted what he learned and what worked for him. So now Dr. Anita Bharadwaj, who has come from Cleveland, and there are people here from literally India, um, all over the US, Canada, etc. But that's besides the point. So Dr. Anita would, um, talk about some of the concepts that Guru Maharaj has documented and some things that we need to heed as we go through the spiritual journey and our meditation practice.
I will read an adaptation of an article written by Pandit Mihlal Sharma ji. Pandit ji was one of the most dedicated disciples of Guru Maharaj, Dr. Chaturput Sahai ji. Here he talks about meditation, which is at the core of our practice. What is meditation and what does it achieve? This question has been arising in the minds of spiritual seekers for a long time. The various methods of meditation that are prevalent give divergent suggestions for attaining spiritual progress. Some suggest controlling the mind, some call for controlling the process of breathing, and some others suggest concentrating on a particular point, for example, at the center of the forehead. In the first half of the 20th century, our Guru, Dr. Chaturput Sahai ji, who we refer to as Guru Maharaj, revived and tweaked a unique system of yoga sadhana or spiritual meditation, which is in concordance with the philosophy of the ancient Hindu texts, the Upanishads and the Bhagavad Gita. Guru Maharaj, based on his own spiritual pursuits, concluded that the meditative state can be attained by devoting a small amount of time every day to a practice where one tries to detach oneself from worldly affairs and attempts to control the activity of the mind. In the total cessation of the external and internal activity of the mind lies the real essence of meditation. If one wants to enjoy a show, one has to stop watching everything else. If one wants to listen to a particular person, one has to first stop listening to other sounds. Similarly, if one wants to get to know oneself and realize one's inner self, one has to learn to focus away from the external world. If one wants to savor the silence of peace, one has to stop generating sound that disturbs it. Let us think about how sound is generated. We know that sound is created by a conflict, such as when two objects strike each other, for example, a bell and a gong. If the gong does not strike the bell, no sound is generated. Similarly, our words are generated when the tongue, lips, and throat come into action and create a sound. Now let us examine this further. Each word is preceded by a thought. One may think that the thought is created without a strike or conflict, but that would not be true. A thought is created by the vibrations or ripples, also called vrittis, in the mind or man, or the chit, which is the center or core of the mind. This core of the mind or chit can be imagined to be like an ocean. If its surface is still, there would be no thoughts generated, and there would be tranquility. Any ripple in the core of the mind leads to the birth of a thought. One thought leads to another, generating a series of thoughts that disturb peace. To restore peace, we have to come to a thought-free state, a state where there is cessation of the ripples in the ocean that is the mind. However, it is very difficult to attain a thought-free state, even as it is true that just a few moments of blissful nothingness would give us immense inner peace and joy. Apart from spiritual benefit, this state of being thought-free has countless additional benefits relating to mental and physical health. It would be wonderful if we could control our flow of thoughts and reach a state where there is no conflict, no noise, either external or internal. Herein lies the real fruit of sadhana or spiritual practice. However, the mind, has an innate tendency to constantly generate thoughts, and it is very difficult to bring it to a thought-free state. Thus, the method used here is to give a single thought of our choice to the mind and allow the mind to hold on to that thought and gradually settle into a state that leads to thought-free bliss. So, in our practice, one imagines sitting in front of a source of divine transcendental light, with this light falling onto our heart and illuminating us. This is a task given to our mind with the intention of keeping it busy and saving it from inner and outer cacophony. Gradually, the mind would get in tuned to holding on to this one single thought. This is precisely the beginning of meditation. We start with a slow prayer in a still posture, and gradually the body settles down. And that is when we bring the mind to this solitary thought of the presence of divine transcendental light within our illuminated heart. Gradually, this process leads one to a state where one becomes completely oblivious of the thought of this light and even the source of this light. When this happens, one finds oneself in a unique blissful state. Cessation of the inner words and thoughts enables us to listen to the previously unheard internal melody. This state is beyond anything that can be expressed by mere words. One cannot fully understand it at that time because understanding itself also involves thinking, and we are talking about being thought-free over here. One can relate to this bliss only when one comes out of this state, just like the content of a dream is only appreciated when the dream is over. Thus, in conclusion, true meditation involves emptying our minds of thoughts. The mind is like an ocean, and when its waves or ripples cease, only then is our true self that lies hidden behind the mind and body revealed. Thank you.
So now we will practice what we just heard about. Um, so a few things that are important. Number one, before we get into deep silent meditation, we need to, as we were listening, need to concentrate on one thought. So from multitude of thoughts, let's come to one thought. For that, there are a couple of things that help to stop the distractions. First, eyes lightly closed. That stops the sensory input, which is distracting our mind. And then still and relaxed posture, because every time the body moves, mind moves with it. So sit in a relaxed and still posture. And then think of this transcendental energy in form of light that is right here, right now. Feel the presence, feel the connection. And that's entering, this light is entering your heart, enlightening the heart, and then distributing throughout the body. And you are becoming one with this light. So we start with this one thought, and at some point we'll drop that too and go into this blissful, uplifting, positive state in the backdrop of this transcendental energy in front of life. So mind wanders away, which it will, because that's natural. As soon as you realize that mind has wandered away, at this time, don't do anything else. You can do other things like mindfulness and breathing exercises and other things that help concentration and help bring us to the present moment. At this point, just one thought and one thought alone, it's like art of doing nothing. Just think of this transcendental energy in the form of light that's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you are becoming one with this light. You are getting completely and totally immersed in this light. So you are becoming the light. First, we'll start with music. So traditionally, there are prayers. We have converted that note by note into this music. We'll start with music that helps concentration. And then music fades away, and we go into deep, silent meditation on this transcendental energy in form of light. And um, then once the meditation is over, we transition out with music again, and then we'll continue some of the discussion we just talking about in terms of the concepts. Start. Yuan, can you? Okay, yeah, now it's good. So I was just saying that, you know, to be, it's a bit low there. So like, we're celebrating Guru's Day, Guru Purnima, and now we'll hear from some of the practitioners. Raghunath ji, Yuan, if you could mute Raghunath. Pradeep.
Yeah. Namaskar again. See, when Dr. Anitaji was reading that we practice here emptying the thoughts, emptying the mind of your thoughts, but we don't want to empty here. So I think mind is not the enemy. Mind can as well be your friend. Actually, Guru Maharaj has written a article in Hindi, Nas Nahi Niyantran. So mind is the tool that you really want to use to get to where you want to. What needs to be done is it has to be made into an ally rather than your enemy. So a uncontrolled, distracted, delusioned mind is what the problem is. It is not your friend. But if you let it through a process that transforms it into a aware, disciplined, focused, and a mind that is in tune with the reality, then it becomes your ally. That you can use its power. So the idea is about harnessing the powers of mind. And I don't have to tell you, in Indian scriptures, it is called Anantanaag. It has infinite powers, but in three of them are, and Guru Maharaj has in the same article that we have been talking about, Santika Rahasya, he has been talking about it. The power to conceptualize, the power to imagine, and power to the willpower to get something done. They are all very important. So you have to turn it into your ally. That is one thing. The other thing, the biggest hurdle to peace was defined as worry. Worry is what? It's uncontrolled stream of thoughts. If you can control it, then it's like, and I'll stop after this with the analogies. The driving, right? If you know how to, or maybe a better example is air conditioning. If you know how to turn it on and off and set it to the right temperature, then regardless of what is happening in the outside world, whether it's snowing, raining, humid, not humid, hot, you can change your settings and you enjoy indoors. On the other hand, if you don't know how to use the tool, then you might, in the winter, you might be suffering. Either you are suffering because you don't know how to use it at all, you don't even know that it exists, or you will suffer because during winter you are making it colder, and during summer you are turning it hotter. So the same thing with the driving. You can take any example. So we are living in the world. We are not living in a solitude. We have a family. We have a job. So striking that balance is what Guru Maharaj taught. That actually, I was just telling Bhai Sahib in the evening, one of the instructions I was ever given: "Dono kaam karo aur mast raho." So that is essentially enjoy your life while doing your family duties, doing your job, and also devoting some time for this. So then now I will, if the voice and all is there, I'll read this. I'll share some friendly advice on how you can effectively use this process. And this is just a note, so language and all, you can pardon me. Thinking about consistency and regularity of practicing sadhana took me back in time as I sat in Princeton Junction station waiting for the train. Doing it at a fixed time and place does make a difference. Following other rules like cleanliness of body, clothes, and place also helps. And so does to not eat before you practice, health permitting. Sometimes you can't really go hungry for a long time. But if you try that, that helps. And if we have a strong desire and will to follow the rules, it's possible to do so. I have been able to fix a place most of time, and that has varied. Like it's there were times when there is a teeny tiny place, there are very comfortable places. So you can always find a place. I have been able to mostly keep time through different phases of my life, from early student days, single and working days, married and with young kids days, to current days. Driver for the change is faith and love. You change because you have faith in it, or it is something you love, or your beloved, someone you have faith in, loves it. And same ingredients are necessary for sustaining it when going gets tough. Your adherence to your principles, you will find, is directly proportional to faith and love of someone or something. Verbal communication is rarely needed, and it can definitely not be done by force or imposition. So that was just the thought. On the discipline part, I am reminded of one more thought, that There's an article in Kalyan Marg about discipline where he talks about the self-discipline and forced discipline. Forced discipline generally had bad consequences because if the system becomes corrupt, the enforcer is likely to be suffering from being above the law and false ego and turning into a tyrant. We see this example in a lot of so-called spiritual and religious organizations. Self-discipline, on the other hand, comes from within and is driven by your desire to do the right thing, to not bring the bad name to your guru. The feeling of universal love, that you want everybody to be happy, you want everybody to be in a better place, that comes voluntarily, and that is the discipline that gets us forward. So there's a distinction between the two kinds of disciplines, and he emphasizes that self-discipline is what we should practice. And thank you for tolerating me for Uncle Ji, you can.
So, excuse me, my throat. So, what I'm supposed to say now after what Sanjeev ji said earlier, you just said, what is there to say? But anyway, since they have asked me, so that's a conversation between two great poets, Wordsworth and Coleridge. Wordsworth always used to say, "What I am, so I see. What I am, so I see." Coleridge said that, all right, if you are correct, then what I see, so I become. What I say, so I become. So Guru Maharaj said, that was a confirmation, not a confirmation, that was kind of extension of what Guru Maharaj said. Guru Maharaj said, if you think about me all the time, if you just chintan, just think about me, then you will become like me. Bringi sadhana. So let's and then the word chintan, thinking about him. That you don't need mind control or anything. Just think about him. He'll control everything. Plus, there shouldn't be any mind control anyway. Yeah, we should train the mind, not control it. Control is kind of, does sound good. Training sounds good, better than just control. So let's train the mind. And how do we train the mind? The sadhana we do, thinking about him. So and once we have trained the mind, as we were saying, then we can achieve anything, everything rather. He said that in Sanskrit, he had said that man eva manushyanam karanam moksha. Mind is in between the liberation and the bondage. We have trained the mind upwards, then liberation is in our hands. So let's pray to Guru Maharaj that he give us. He already has given us the technique. Give us the strength to follow on that technique.
So Eddie, would you summarize what we have heard so far, and then if we have any questions, we'll go to that and quickly wrap up from there.
Uh, yes. So I'm reminded of something you said, many lectures back, and it's the mind. And you said that it's a subject or a topic that should be taught in school because it's so important. And so what we heard today was, some very important information about what our mind is and how it operates. And it was sort of a mini course and the psychology of how we think and our thoughts and what we can do to use our mind to reach our high levels of consciousness and experience the joy and so forth that we're looking for in life. And so, what Guru Maharaj has done is he's laid out a lot of this knowledge of mind and of psychology, if you will, in his writings and also in his teachings. And so, that was echoed today. But the beauty of being in Ramashram Satsang is that we really don't need to read any of those books. You know, just practicing this method will get you there, and that's the beauty of it. And so when we hear that that the key to success and achieving the joy in life that we want to experience is just to, as someone said today, is just to practice. It's so very true. And so this is the quality of this system is that it's so simple and easy to practice, and that we can do it in our daily lives, our busy lives, and experience that joy and so forth and happiness that we're looking for. And so, not only that, but as we do reach these higher levels of consciousness, we become very aware of what mind is, and not only in helping ourselves at that point, but we can also then begin to do our service and help others in this world. Because there's a huge misconception of what love is. But in this path that we're on, as you experience these higher states of consciousness and you reach these higher realms, the realm of intellect and the realm of love, you begin to become aware of what love is. And now you become, a help to this world, because you can put it in very simple terms and help other people, out of their states of suffering and sadness, right? And so this is a great service. So at that point, not only do you become a stronger person, but you make the world a better place and a more peaceful place around you. And in a sense, what is better than that? Because ultimately, that's sort of what we're here for, right? None of us can achieve the ultimate goal of Sahaj Samadhi until we reach that state of love for our fellow brothers and sisters, and we can serve them in a way. And so, what we heard today was a lot about the mind. It's very helpful information. And the most important part of that is that we can achieve what was said today just by being here in satsang with each other and practicing this method in our personal time. Nadiji?
So before we open up for questions, something what Eddie was saying not just resonates, it actually comes to me again and again. In one of the introductions, in one of these workshops that we did recently, the introduction was to Guru Maharaj and Dada Guru Maharaj, his guru, that there were no scriptures read. And, so Dada Guru Maharaj, in a very early age, got enlightened. When Guru Maharaj met him, lived with him, could not figure out that he was a spiritual person. That's where we belong. We don't have to demonstrate anything. We don't have to have a branding. We don't have to do marketing. What we do is person by person transformation in a way that it's effective, efficient, and deep. And We were just talking before this session. There is a thought that one cannot, go to higher realms without effort. And that's one way to think about it. But then these catalysts, these gurus can transform by, sometimes one sentence, sometimes that is even not uttered. And transformation happens. Afterwards, when Guru Maharaj, finally, Guru Maharaj got started from Vigyan Mein Kosh, which is the fourth realm in the five realms that we talk about in these sessions as the pyramid of five levels. So the first session itself, he said that Dada Guru Maharaj asked him to sit in front, and he felt there was light coming from Dada Guru Maharaj's heart into his heart, and he felt light and almost floating. And later on, Dada Guru Maharaj told him that I have started you from Vigyan Mein Kosh, which is the realm of knowledge. So later on, he also divulged that I cleansed you before getting to this point, because they were, during the plague, they were, kind of moved into a place outside of where they were, onto a hill, and so they were together, and this cleansing happened without Guru Maharaj knowing. And later on, he started him from up there, and then he took him through those five realms 3 times so that he understands this spiritual journey from the bottom to the top, and all done through the power of this transcendental energy that can uplift you, transform you, and all you have to do is connect to the right source that provides you that energy. So on that note, I think I'll pause. So any questions online or here, or anyone wants to share any thoughts, comments? Yes?
Thank you. This is something that I was just reading through and wanted to share with everybody here. It's a bit of a longish way of saying what I feel, but I just wanted to, share here. It's about someone, a seeker's journey to a path of inner peace. And the story that I'm sharing here is based on somebody who is living in America, an Indian living in America. So the story goes like this. In the bustling city of Seattle, amidst the modern conveniences and hectic pace of life, lives a man named Arjun. Arjun was part of a well-established Indian American family that had made the United States their home for over 2 generations. He managed a successful IT consulting business and enjoyed a comfortable life with his wife and 2 children. Despite his achievements, Arjun often felt an emptiness inside, a yearning for something beyond the material success he had worked so hard to attain. One day, during a family gathering, Arjun overheard his cousin talking about a spiritual retreat they had attended. The retreat, led by a respected Indian American guru, focused on meditation and self awareness. Intrigued, Arjun listened intently as his cousin described the profound sense of peace and clarity they had experienced. Arjun felt a spark of hope. Perhaps this retreat could provide the answers he sought. A few weeks later, Arjun found himself at the retreat center nestled in the serene forest of Pacific Northwest. The guru, a wise and compassionate woman in her 60s, welcomed him with warmth. She had a deep understanding of the unique challenges faced by Indian American families, balancing traditional values with modern life in the West. Arjun felt an immediate connection and shared his struggles with finding deeper meaning and peace. The guru listened patiently and then spoke with a gentle voice. Arjun, your journey is one many of us face in the modern world. We often get caught up in the pursuit of success and material comforts, yet feel a void within. Let me share a story that might resonate with you. She recounted the tale of a young professional named Priya, who, despite having a thriving career in Silicon Valley, felt unfulfilled. Priya sought guidance from a wise mentor who introduced her to meditation and the practice of mindfulness. Initially skeptical, Priya struggled to quiet her mind, which was constantly racing with thoughts about work and future plans. However, through consistent practice, she began to experience moments of deep stillness and clarity. Priya realized that her true happiness was not tied to her career achievements but came from within, from a state of inner peace and contentment. The Guru paused, looking at Arjun. This story, she continued, is a reflection of many of our lives. We often chase external successes, forgetting the peace that comes from within. Through meditation and self inquiry, we can reconnect with our true selves and find lasting happiness. Inspired, Arjun decided to give meditation a try. The Guru guided him through a simple practice, sitting quietly, focusing on his breath, and observing his thoughts without attachment. At first, Arjun found it challenging to sit still and silence his busy mind, filled with work deadlines and family responsibilities. But he persevered, dedicated a few minutes each day to his practice. As weeks turned into months, Arjun began to notice subtle changes in his life. He felt more present and less reactive, both at work and at home. He became more patient with his children and more compassionate towards his colleagues. He also started to experience moments of deep calm during meditation, where the constant chatter of his mind would quiet down, revealing a sense of inner peace. One morning, during a particularly peaceful meditation session, Arjun experienced a profound realization. He understood that his quest for fulfillment has been focused outward on material achievements and external validation. However, true peace and happiness comes from within, from a deep connection with his inner self. This realization was liberating and transformed how he approached life. Arjun began to incorporate mindfulness into his daily routine. He would take moments throughout the day to pause, breathe, and simply be present. Whether he was at a broad meeting or playing with his kids, he practiced being fully engaged in the moment. This practice not only reduced his stress, but also deepened his relationship and enriched his overall experience of life. As urgent transformation became evident, his family and friends took notice. They saw a calmer, more centered version of the man they knew. Curious, they asked him about his journey, and Arjun gladly shared his experience, emphasizing the importance of mindfulness and self awareness. He explained that these practices were not about escaping responsibilities, or daily life, but about engaging with them more fully and authentically. Arjun's wife Meera also began exploring meditation. Together, they created a more mindful family environment, encouraging their children to express their thoughts and emotions openly. They introduced simple practices like gratitude, journaling, and mindful eating, which helped the family connect more deeply with each other and appreciate the simple joys of life. One day, a friend of Arjun, Raj, confided in him about his struggles with work related stress and anxiety. Arjun listened empathetically and shared the analogy of clear blue sky. Imagine your mind as a vast, clear sky, he said. The thoughts and emotions we experience are like clouds passing through. They come and go, but they do not change the nature of the sky itself. By practicing mindfulness, we can observe these thoughts and emotions without being overwhelmed by them, reconnecting with the peace that is always present within us. Raj found this analogy helpful and started his own journey of mindfulness practice. Like Arjun, he discovered that mindfulness does not require a complete overhaul of his life, but rather a shift in perspective, seeing each moment as an opportunity to connect with his true self. Over time, Arjun became an advocate for mindfulness and self awareness within his community. He organized workshops and meditation sessions, sharing his journey and the benefits of these practices. He emphasized that the path to inner peace was accessible to everyone, regardless of their background or circumstances. It was a matter of taking small, consistent steps towards greater awareness and presence. As Arjun reflected on his journey, he realized that his path was not about achieving a final destination, but about an ongoing process of self discovery and growth. He continued to learn and deepen his practice, exploring different aspects of mindfulness and spirituality. He also recognized the importance of having a supportive community and a compassionate teacher, both of which had been instrumental in his journey. And so, Arjun's story, like Priya's, became a testament to the power of mindfulness and meditation in navigating complexities of modern life. It reminds everyone that while the external world is ever changing and often chaotic, the inner world often offers a sanctuary of peace and stability. Well, by cultivating mindfulness and self awareness, we can find true happiness and fulfillment, not in the fleeting pleasures of the material world, but in the timeless essence of our being. Thank you.
So I think we just saw an entire journey, how persons, not they themselves, but people around them, keep changing as you change. So be the light, be the change. That's what matters. So, are there any questions online? Or I think we should wrap up now. So, lately I have talked about in these sessions, like what we eat matters. Like I think what Raghunathji was saying, what you think you become and what you eat eventually is also, uh, you know, it's what you consume uh, is making you. So what you eat matters a whole lot, and especially those who are uh, practicing meditation or it's, as we were uh, just hearing, there is a whole spiritual journey. In the spiritual journey, what your intake, what you're consuming as food is paramount. It's uh, you know, and we have talked about the three energies, Sat, Raj, and Tam, like the positive, the negative, and it's a blend that's in the middle. And Satsang is basically to be with the transcendental energy, to become the transcendental energy. The food that you eat is, your physical body is basically getting all the nourishment there. So if you eat sattvic food, your satsang will be directly and very significantly affected. So light, um, healthy, fresh food is what, basically, and there are other elements, but so sattvic food leads to better satsang. So the what because in today's culture and age, what you eat is also not 100% in your control. Because in Alaukik Bhakti Yoga, or the divine devotion, the book that Guru Maharaj wrote, he actually started with talking about food. And what he said was that if you can be quiet while eating, be thinking of like the way we meditate, not that concentrated state, but think of you're consuming the transcendental energy itself, the energy that you're consuming. So all food is that energy itself. Then when you consume the food, it stays with you. That energy stays with you. So meditation, is and ought to be a short period of time. But if you, while consuming food, if you think that you are consuming this transcendental energy, it stays with you because the food is, with you for some time. So that has been the tradition that as you sit for meditation, keep some sattvic food there. And when you consume that, so not only that transcendental energy has affected you, it has affected the food. And when you consume it, it stays with you and with your system. So one way, so you cannot control who's cooking the food. That's very important. How it is being cooked, what is being utilized. So there was an overarching thought process that before consuming, if you just think that it has Guru के आत्मा का प्रकाश जो है वो transcendental energy is in this food that you're consuming, so it then becomes that energy. So irrespective of, if it is actually sattvic or not, right? So let's meditate for another minute and make sure that this naivedya that we have, the food that we have, is also, part of the energy that we just embodied or manifested. And hence, when we share that, we all will be positively affected by it. So another minute of meditation. All right, okay. So evening session will be at 7. Food will be served now. Anything online before we wrap up? It's actually getting late, so You good? All right.
So, namaskar, till we meet again at 7.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll meet again at 7.